This startling video was captured by New York State Police Trooper Bailey Martin using their body cam while looking into a minor collision at a Durane intersection.
Yeah, I got recourse on the way.
Okay. Are you the driver?
Yes. Are you okay?
Oh, no.
Okay, all right.
I think I'm good.
Sit down.
Ow. Oh,
Are you okay? In the car.
I think I'm fine.
Start smoking. Start smoking. Hold on. Keep her away. Okay.
Yep.
Look at me.
I'm good.
Okay. Let's get her over on the other side. Get her in the back here.
She was investigating the collision when a Dodge Durango heading east struck her squad car outside while she was examining the collision. It's more accurate to say that they rammed into it than that they collided. The police trooper suffered non-life-threatening injuries, and the driver, aged 21, and his 3 passengers suffered minor injuries. At first glance, the now deleted Reddit account known as SHOUTOUT looked completely ordinary. The posts were centered around harmless hobbies, virtual pets like Tamagotchis, and most prominently, Warhammer 40,000, the globally popular tabletop miniature wargame. The account owner frequently shared photos of carefully painted figurines, discussing color schemes, brush techniques, and the satisfaction of bringing small plastic models to life with detail and patience. Among the uploads, one posted dated November 1, 2020 seemed especially wholesome. It featured a Warhammer miniature with intricate artwork painted onto the helmet. In the caption, the user explained that his girlfriend's 9-year-old daughter had helped design and paint the tiny details. He proudly described how she worked on it in small sections and how proud she was of the finished result. At the time, the comments were warm and encouraging. Other hobbyists praised the craftsmanship. Some remarked that the child's work rivaled professional painters. She should be proud, one user wrote. Another joked that her skills were better than many sellers on eBay. It was a kind of uplifting exchange typical in niche hobby communities. Years later, however, those same posts became something entirely different. New comments began appearing beneath that old miniature photo, but they were no longer about paint techniques or artistic talent. Instead, they carried a tone of anger, grief, and disbelief. Some referenced prison. Others mentioned a name, Maddie. One read, "She would have been an incredible artist." Another simply said, "I'm sorry, Maddie." To understand the shift, you have to move forward to February 2024. On February 26, 2024, in Orlando, Florida, Jennifer Soto arrived at Hunters Creek Middle School to pick up her daughter, Malene, known to family and friends as Maddie. It was around 4:30 p.m., but when she asked for her daughter, school officials told her something chilling. Maddie had not attended school that day. At first, Jennifer assumed there was a reasonable explanation. Perhaps Maddie had gone to her grandmother's workplace nearby, but when she checked, Maddie wasn't there either. Panic began to replace confusion. Jennifer started searching the surrounding neighborhood herself while contacting authorities.
911, what's the location of your emergency? And do you need police, fire, or medical?
Police, possibly. I'm reporting a missing child.
By approximately 8 p.m., Maddie was officially reported missing. Law enforcement immediately launched a search operation. More than 50 officers and emergency responders canvassed the area, knocking on doors and asking residents if they had seen the 9-year-old that day. Search efforts continued through the night, but no trace of her was ever found. The last known person to have seen Maddie that morning was Jennifer's boyfriend of 7 years, Stefan Stearns, the same individual behind the SHOUTOUT Reddit account. According to Stefan's statement to police, he had driven Maddie to school that morning. He claimed she asked to be dropped off a few blocks away because she didn't want classmates seeing her get out of his older car.
Around where these communities were,
Okay.
and it's just like in District.
That night, Stearns showed deputies the spot where he says Madeline got out of his car, a silver Lincoln MKZ.
Jennifer, unaware of any deception, appeared in local media interviews pleading for her daughter's safe return.
I want her to be okay and I want her to be safe. I don't want her to come back harmed. I just want her back. Whatever that means. I just want her back.
As she spoke publicly, investigators began quietly examining Stefan's timeline. Stefan told police he ran errands after dropping Maddie off, including stops at a gaming store and a vape shop. But when detectives reviewed surveillance footage from those businesses, they found no evidence that he ever went inside. Cameras showed him driving near those locations but never entering it. It appeared as though he might have been creating a false trail. Additional footage from near his apartment complex revealed even more concerning behavior. Investigators observed Stefan stopping at a dumpster and discarding items. When officers searched the dumpster, they found Maddie's school backpack. Inside were her laptop and a distinctive purple hoodie she had worn to school. On February 28, 2024, Stefan Stearns was arrested. At that point, the full picture was still unclear, but suspicion had firmly shifted toward him. The following day, investigators uncovered surveillance footage showing Stefan driving with Maddie in the front passenger seat. She appeared slumped forward, raising concerns that she may have been unconscious. Further records showed that 2 days before Maddie disappeared, Stefan had purchased sevoflurane from a retailer. Sevoflurane is a medical anesthetic typically used in clinical settings. Outside of controlled environments, it can render someone unconscious. Additional surveillance video from a hotel parking lot showed Stefan transferring Maddie from the passenger seat into the trunk of his car. Then on March 1, a tip led investigators to Hickory Tree Road, where a witness recalled seeing Stefan pulled over the morning Maddie vanished. He appeared to be changing a tire. Authorities searched the rural roadside area near where he had stopped. There, concealed behind tall grass, they discovered Maddie's remains. The devastating discovery confirmed what her family had feared. In July 2024, Stefan Stearns was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to 21 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole. As news of the case spread nationwide, internet users began connecting the dots. Someone recognized Stefan as the operator of the Sustanet Reddit account. Soon, archived posts resurfaced, including the 2020 Warhammer miniature he proudly shared, crediting Maddie for helping paint it. The contrast was haunting. What once appeared to be a proud moment of shared creativity between a child and an adult now felt chilling. The same account that posted hobby content had also shared images involving the child who would later become the victim of a crime. The Reddit account was eventually shut down, but screenshots of the posts remain circulating online. The case serves as a stark example of how online personas can mask realities that remain hidden until something forces them into the open. On social media, Stefan appeared like a hobbyist sharing painted miniatures and casual interests. There were no obvious warning signs in the posts themselves, just everyday content within a gaming community. And beneath that archived Reddit post, the comments now reflect not admiration for paint strokes, but mourning for a life cut tragically short. In 2022, a TikTok user named Demi Graham shared a video that quickly unsettled viewers across the UK and beyond. The footage was recorded outside her residence and showed a man lingering near her building, claiming to be a delivery worker. But something about the interaction didn't feel right. According to Demi, the man approached her door and attempted to offer her a gift. There was no package in a standard courier bag, no clear branding, and no explanation that made sense. When she questioned him, he didn't leave in a normal way. Instead, he stepped away briefly, only to return again moments later. The repetition is what truly alarmed her.
Why are you at my door?
Sorry, it's just
Who are you?
John.
John?
This is just a candle I wanted to give you. A candle as a present.
It's what you talking about. Who sent you to my door? Who sent you to my door?
Okay, I'm just sorry.
No, I want to know who sent you to my door. I don't know who you are.
No, dear,
Cut the act.
I just want to give you a present. I'm sorry.
Who are you? Where have you came from?
Can I just give you that?
Where have you came from? Why? How do you know that's my cup?
It's alright, doesn't matter. Sorry.
Are you stalking me or something?
No,
Who are you?
sorry.
Who are you? Tell me who you are. I'm going to phone the police. Tell me who you are. Who are you? What the f***? I just had this guy at my door saying he's from Amazon. And I don't know who the is. What the f***? Who are you? What do you want? I'm trying to leave my house. I'm gonna need to keep this video on for my own safety.
In the portion of the recording that circulated online, the man can be seen hovering near the entrance, pacing and repositioning himself. Demi explained that she began to feel trapped. At one point, she realized he was effectively blocking her main path to exit the building. Whether intentional or not, his presence made it difficult for her to leave without crossing directly in front of him. That's when she trusted her instincts. Rather than confronting him or waiting longer, she chose to use the emergency stairwell to exit the building from another route. The decision was quick and deliberate. She didn't try to argue. She didn't wait to see what he would do next. She removed herself from the situation.
What are you doing? Who are you? Can you please help me? There's a guy trying to monkey me. He just came in my door and he's got up my stairway. I thought we were doing trying to come into my house. I've got it on my phone.
Outside, she managed to find help from others nearby. The video cuts before showing a full resolution, but it's clear that she successfully created distance between herself and the man. The tension in her voice throughout the clip reflects genuine fear. Fear not necessarily based on proof of intent, but on instinct. And sometimes, instinct is enough. What made the situation even more unsettling for viewers was a lack of clarity about the man's true purpose. Was he genuinely confused? Was he attempting to gain entry under false pretenses? There were no confirmed reports detailing his identity or intentions. That uncertainty left room for concern. After the video gained attention, Demi reportedly posted follow-up updates explaining that she was safe. However, her TikTok account later disappeared, leaving limited public information about what ultimately happened. According to Reddit discussions at the time, she had reassured followers that she had taken the incident seriously and was staying cautious. The video sparked broader conversations about personal safety, especially for women living alone. In the end, nothing physically happened in the clip. No break-in, no confirmed crime, but that doesn't mean the fear was invalid. The most important takeaway may be this. Demi listened to her instincts. She recognized that the situation felt wrong and chose the safest available option. Whether the man's intentions were malicious or not, her decision to leave through a different exit potentially prevented something from escalating. Sometimes safety isn't about waiting for proof. It's about recognizing discomfort and acting before uncertainty becomes danger.
Oddio, prendelo, prende! Oddio, nell'acqua è andato! Ha buttato giù nell'acqua!
No. Wait, I thought people fell out of the boat. Oh, someone did fall out of the boat. Vuoi vedere che ha avuto qualcosa?
Gli ha buttato dentro l'acqua, è andata a finire, poverino.
I think someone probably had like a heart attack.
Guarda cosa cazzo ha combinato.
We've heard like a
On February 8, 2026, a transport boat in Venice, Italy, lost control on the Grand Canal. Sources say that a gearbox failure made it impossible to shift gears, and the boat hit a dock and 2 gondolas, throwing 9 people into the water. The boat only stopped when it hit a building. Rescuers got there quickly to help the victims with their bruises and signs of hypothermia. The pilot was taken to the hospital for a head injury and a drug test. Prosecutors have started an investigation into the shipwreck for negligence. On the evening of February 29th, 2024, what started as an ordinary Thursday in Las Cruces, New Mexico, turned into a tragedy that would later be examined frame by frame. Just after 7 p.m., 47-year-old Roy Pera was riding his mountain bike along the north sidewalk of Loman Avenue. He wasn't in the roadway. He wasn't weaving through traffic. He was exactly where a cyclist is expected to be, on the sidewalk, carefully pulling a small bicycle trailer behind him as he crossed the Interstate 25 overpass. It was already growing dark, the kind of early evening where visibility depends heavily on headlights and street lamps. At the same time, 27-year-old Emily Elizabeth Portillo was driving a silver Ford Mustang after exiting Interstate 25. According to investigators, she approached the turn onto Loman Avenue at a high rate of speed. Witnesses would later describe the car as moving unusually fast as it came off the ramp. What happened next unfolded in seconds. Investigators determined that Portillo failed to properly negotiate the turn. The Mustang veered off course, left the roadway, and struck Roy on the sidewalk. The impact was violent. Witnesses nearby described seeing Roy's body launched into the air before he was thrown over the edge of the overpass. Below the bridge was a rock retaining wall. Bystanders immediately reacted. One witness later described the horrifying moment of realizing someone had been hit and thrown. Calls to 911 flooded in as people rushed toward the scene. The crash left debris scattered across the sidewalk and roadway. The Mustang had come to a stop. Roy lay critically injured below. Emergency responders arrived quickly. Officers secured the area while paramedics worked to stabilize Roy. He had sustained catastrophic injuries from both the vehicle impact and the fall from the overpass. He was transported to University Medical Center in El Paso for advanced treatment. Meanwhile, officers began speaking with Portillo at the scene. She appeared shaken. Body camera footage shows her apologizing repeatedly, telling officers she had just been trying to get food. She stated she didn't see the cyclist and claimed she attempted to maneuver around him. She insisted she never expected anyone to be in that location. However, witness accounts told a different story. One man told investigators he saw the Mustang barreling down the exit ramp at an alarming speed. He emphasized that Roy was not in the roadway but on the sidewalk. According to him, the vehicle did not appear to brake before the collision. Given the severity of the crash, officers followed standard procedure and asked Portillo to perform field sobriety tests. She agreed. Under bright patrol lights, she attempted to complete the evaluations. On the surface, some officers noted that she seemed responsive and coherent, but toxicology results later revealed a different picture. Testing showed the presence of both alcohol and cannabis in her system. Investigators ultimately concluded that impairment combined with excessive speed were significant contributing factors in the crash. Roy remained hospitalized in critical condition. His injuries were extensive. Despite medical intervention, he succumbed to those injuries 2 days later, on March 2, 2024. With his death, the case shifted from a serious traffic collision investigation to a homicide case. Portillo was formally charged with homicide by vehicle while under the influence. Prosecutors argued that her impaired driving directly led to Roy's death. What began as a crash investigation now carried the full weight of criminal prosecution. Roy's family was notified of both his passing and the updated charges. Body camera footage later released captured officers explaining the legal process to his grieving mother. She struggled to comprehend how a routine bike ride could end in such sudden loss. Her frustration was clear, not only at the tragedy itself, but at the waiting that accompanies the legal system. Over the following year, the case moved through the courts. Prosecutors emphasized that Roy had been lawfully riding on the sidewalk. He was not jaywalking. He was not darting into traffic. He was not violating any traffic laws. They argued that the responsibility rested squarely on the driver who lost control while impaired. Defense attorneys focused on the complexity of the intersection and the darkness of the roadway, attempting to frame the crash as a tragic accident rather than criminal recklessness. But the toxicology results and witness testimony weighed heavily. On July 11, 2025, more than a year after the crash, Emily Portillo stood in court for sentencing. The courtroom was filled with emotion. Family members from both sides addressed the judge. Roy's loved ones spoke about the life he had lived, his personality, his routines, the normalcy of that evening before everything changed. They described the permanent hole left in their family. Portillo's family also spoke, acknowledging the gravity of what had happened, but asking the court to consider her lack of prior violent criminal history. After reviewing the evidence and statements, the judge delivered the sentence. 10 years total, with 7 years to be served in custody and 3 years suspended. The district attorney later stated that their office sought incarceration rather than probation because of the role impairment played in the crash. For Roy's family, however, no sentence could undo what happened. The incident remains one of those cases that feels painfully ordinary in its beginning. A man riding his bicycle home, a woman driving to get food, a routine exit ramp, a familiar overpass. Nothing about it suggests catastrophe. Yet within seconds, one decision, driving while impaired, altered multiple lives permanently. Imagine this: in the Turkish neighborhood of Sakarya, you're preparing a late-night dinner. You work at a dining establishment, of course. In your mind, what will happen next? Many of you probably fear that a car would smash into the eatery, but that didn't happen. However, given the number of events we've witnessed, I don't blame you if you did consider that. Here, the kebab restaurant's ceiling fell, and the employees barely avoided getting hurt.
Dicen que esta pasada como peligroso. Escucha tu marica. Oh, Maxi, weón. Tenía razón. Oh, puta. ¿Qué onda?
This is what happened in Quilicura, Chile, when someone tried to rob someone. The driver didn't think twice and sped into the thieves, sending one of them flying off the road. The police found the car that was used in the crime and confirmed that it had already been reported stolen. The attackers are still on the loose as of this recording, but he did not come out unscathed. It's strange that the passenger was talking about how dangerous that curve was just seconds before the ambush. Crazy, huh? Detectives approached her with calm expressions and steady voices, as if this were nothing more than a routine conversation. But beneath that composed exterior was a quiet intensity. "Hello, ma'am, is it Giselle?" one investigator asked, identifying himself and the others who had traveled from Orlando. Then came the reason for their visit. They had a search warrant. They were there to collect her DNA. Isol Victoria Gonzalez appeared controlled, cooperative, almost detached. She didn't argue. She didn't protest. On the surface, she looked like someone complying with standard procedure. But this was anything but routine. Nearly 2 years had passed since her roommate, 27-year-old Rooney Medina Pacheco, vanished without a trace. And by now, detectives were no longer treating it as a disappearance. They believed they were investigating a murder. Rooney arrived in the United States from the Dominican Republic in late 2022. The trip was supposed to mark a new chapter, time spent abroad, opportunity, and the chance to build something different. She settled into Cadence Crossing apartment complex on Curry Ford Road in Orlando, Florida. She shared the apartment with Isol. Exactly how close they were remains unclear. Some accounts suggest that they had known each other previously. Others indicate they may have simply been roommates sharing expenses. What investigators would later confirm, however, was that tension had begun building inside that apartment. Rooney was known for consistency. She showed up to work, she followed her schedule, she stayed in regular contact with her family back home, especially during holidays. On December 24, 2022, Christmas Eve, she worked her scheduled shift as usual. She was expected back at work on Christmas Day, but on December 25, she didn't show. She didn't call in, she didn't explain, she simply didn't appear. That alone raised eyebrows, but then she missed additional shifts that week. For someone described as reliable and structured, structured. This wasn't just unusual, it was alarming. That same Christmas night, around 9 p.m., Rooney's mother called from the Dominican Republic to wish her a Merry Christmas. Rooney didn't answer. Instead, another woman picked up the phone. Rooney's mother would later describe the voice as unfamiliar and abrupt. The conversation ended quickly, leaving her unsettled. It was the kind of detail that seems small in the moment, until you look back and realize it was the first sign that something was very wrong. 2 days later, on December 27, 2022, Isel contacted the Orlando Police Department. She reported Rooney missing. According to Isel, she had overheard Rooney speaking on the phone Christmas morning. Later, she knocked on her bedroom door and found her gone. She also disclosed something else. The two had argued days earlier. Rooney had accused her of stealing $3,000 from her room. That accusation would later become central to the investigation. Detectives quickly reached out to Rooney's family. They asked whether she might have returned to the Dominican Republic. She hadn't. There was no record of her passport being used, no bank activity, no airline tickets, no communication. Her husband said she missed a scheduled video call on Christmas morning at 11:45 a.m. A relative reported that Rooney had seemed distressed during their last conversation. As investigators dug deeper, they began analyzing cell phone data. Rooney's phone location and Isel's phone location told a story, and on Christmas Day, those digital trails aligned in ways that raised suspicion. Then came the surveillance footage. On December 25, cameras captured Isel purchasing a chainsaw from a local home improvement store near the apartment complex. Later that same day, another camera recorded her at Walmart buying heavy-duty trash bags, rubber gloves, and dish soap. On their own, those purchases are not illegal. They are not proof of anything. But when placed beside a missing roommate, a recent financial dispute, and a suspicious timeline, the optics changed. On January 8, 2023, Detective Patrick Kavanaugh approached Isel at her workplace parking lot and asked her to come to the station for further questioning. Inside the interrogation room, detectives laid everything out: the location data, the store receipts, the security footage, the inconsistencies in her story. Her responses began to shift. When asked about the chainsaw, she said it was for cutting trees. When asked about Walmart, she initially denied buying anything before revising her answer and suggesting she may have been shopping for cleaning supplies. Detectives circled back repeatedly to Rooney's phone. At first, Isel claimed she threw it away because she was receiving disturbing calls. Later, she changed that explanation, saying she mailed the phone to the Dominican Republic in a care package. Each revision weakened her credibility. Then came the forensic search. On February 15, 2023, investigators executed a search warrant at the apartment. What they found was not visible to the naked eye, but chemical testing revealed it. Forensic analysis showed that a significant quantity of blood had been cleaned from multiple surfaces in the living room. Luminol and other testing methods indicate deliberate attempts to remove biological evidence. DNA testing later confirmed that the blood belonged to Rooney. Still, one critical element remained missing. There was no body. Without remains, the case became more complex. But prosecutors believe the physical evidence inside the apartment, combined with the timeline and digital trail, pointed toward violence. Investigators also uncovered internet search history they described as troubling. Queries related to tools, store hours, anatomy, and waste disposal in Orlando. Meanwhile, Isel left the state. Time passed. Rooney's family remained in limbo, suspended between hope and dread. They had no remains to bury, no confirmed location, no closure. Nearly 2 years after Rooney disappeared, on November 6, 2024, officers located Isel in Hartford, Connecticut. Detectives approached her again, calm, measured, professional. This time they executed the DNA warrant. She was taken in for questioning once more. Investigators confronted her with the forensic findings from the apartment and asked about missing security camera footage from inside the residence, footage that had reportedly disappeared from the timeline surrounding Christmas Day. The pressure had built. Shortly afterward, Isel Victoria Gonzalez was arrested. She was charged with second-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and grand theft. As of mid-November 2025, she maintained her innocence and awaited trial. Rooney's remains have still not been recovered. What makes this case especially haunting isn't a dramatic confession or a shocking courtroom outburst. It's the silence. A woman traveled to the United States during the holidays, expecting celebration, connection, and opportunity. Instead, her last known moments trace back to an apartment living room, one that forensic evidence suggests was the site of violence. Her family continues waiting for answers, and until Rooney is found, that waiting carries weight. Because in cases like this, justice is only part of the equation. The other part, the part her family longs for, is finality, and that is yet to come. This footage has been pretty viral. I've shown many shares of fires and gas station explosions. However, this one is a bit different. Observe. First of all, given that the man just witnessed a gas station explode in front of him, the camera work is really crazy. No fatalities were reported. However, 2 people were injured. However, I would not be in such close proximity. Wouldn't you agree? This chilling footage was captured by individuals within an apartment that features a mysterious hole. Strange, I understand, but there's an explanation lurking in the shadows, and it ties back to that drone. The scheme involved deploying this drone, intended to eliminate crucial equipment, yet it appears that something took a turn for the worse, and the drone plummeted directly to the earth. I also noticed some eerie vehicles lurking in the background, likely on the same side as these figures. Pretty intense. On June 13, 2025, a video uploaded by Wisconsin outdoorsman Nicholas Piparo began circulating online, leaving viewers unsettled. Nicholas is known for documenting his fishing and camping trips, quiet rivers, wooded trails, and the kind of peaceful isolation that draws people into nature in the first place. But this particular outing didn't stay peaceful for long. That day, Nicholas was fishing beside a small river, far from any crowded public area. It was just him and his dog, surrounded by trees and open space. Then, about 50 feet away, 2 men stepped out from the tree line. They didn't speak. They didn't approach with any obvious purpose. They just stood there and stared, trying to keep the interaction casual and non-threatening. Nicholas waved and called out a friendly hello, but the response, or lack of one, made things worse. The men didn't wave back. They didn't acknowledge him. Instead, they seemed to glance around awkwardly, pretending to examine the surroundings. Each time Nicholas looked their way, they quickly averted their eyes. It was a kind of behavior that doesn't prove anything outright, but it doesn't feel normal either.
Lola, come here. How's it going?
As he continued observing them, Nicholas noticed something else. They didn't have fishing rods, no tackle boxes, no backpacks, no camping gear, nothing that suggested they were there for the same reason he was. In a remote wooded area near a river, that detail stood out. Meanwhile, their body language grew more concerning. They began inching closer, slowly, subtly. Not enough to create an obvious confrontation, but enough to close the distance. At that point, Nicholas said his internal alarm bells were going off.
Come here. Come here. Woohoo! Alright, those dudes are just standing there staring at me. Sketchy! I don't know if they wanted something or what, but they were peeping me out from down the river, and then they came closer and closer, and then they were just tending to look at the trees, and then they kept staring at me. Usually people like say something or whatever.
He didn't wait for a direct threat. He didn't try to escalate the situation. Instead, he decided it was time to pack up and leave. The moment he recognized the shift from odd to potentially unsafe, he trusted his instincts. When the video was posted, the comment section filled quickly. Many viewers praised his decision. One commenter, identifying himself as a retired street police officer, wrote, "When your gut tells you something, listen. You actually waited too long to move." Others echoed the sentiment, pointing out the same inconsistencies Nicholas had noticed. No gear, no clear purpose, evasive behavior. Some viewers emphasized preparedness in isolated environments. In remote areas, help isn't always nearby. Being aware of surroundings and acting early can matter. Others noted how important his dog may have been in the situation. Dogs often pick up on tension before humans consciously process it. Even the presence of a dog can deter someone from pushing boundaries. Another factor people mentioned was the camera. Being visibly recorded changes dynamics. If someone has questionable intentions, knowing they're on video may cause hesitation. Between the dog and the camera, Nicholas may have unintentionally created two layers of deterrence. Of course, it's also possible the men meant no harm. They could have been wandering, confused, or simply socially awkward. But the reality is this: when you're isolated, you don't have the luxury of waiting for confirmation. The situation raises a bigger question. If you were alone in the woods and noticed two strangers behaving this way, closing distance, avoiding eye contact, ignoring attempts at conversation, what would you do? Stay and hope it's nothing? Or trust that subtle instinct telling you something's off? Sometimes survival isn't about bravery or confrontation. It's about recognizing patterns, reading body language, and choosing distance before things escalate. Nicholas didn't accuse. He didn't panic. He simply left. And sometimes, that's the smartest move you can make. What would you have done? Check out this chilling footage out of Brazil. At first glance, it doesn't look like much. Just a vehicle sitting in a shadowy patch of woodland, partially concealed by trees. The kind of place you'd only reach if you deliberately left the main road behind. No streetlights, no pavement, just uneven terrain and a narrow dirt path cutting through the brush. But look closer. And then it happens. The driver presses the accelerator. Whether it was panic, overconfidence, or a simple miscalculation, the tires spin. Instead of gaining traction, the vehicles lurched forward. For a split second, it teeters, and then gravity takes over. The car tips and begins to tumble down the slope. Metal scrapes. Glass reflects the light. The vehicle rolls violently through brush and loose dirt before finally coming to a stop further below. It's the kind of moment that makes your stomach drop. Off-road trails with steep inclines are unpredictable. Loose soil, hidden rocks, and sudden drop-offs can turn a minor mistake into a life-threatening situation instantly. And in remote areas like this, emergency response times aren't exactly fast. But there's one crucial detail that stands out. It appears the driver was wearing a seatbelt. That single decision, something that takes seconds, may have made all the difference. In rollovers, being restrained dramatically reduces the risk of being thrown from the vehicle or slammed into interior structures. It's chilling to think about how many crashes like this, and far worse, simply because someone didn't buckle up. Out there in the shadows, on unstable ground, it only takes one push of the pedal for everything to spiral out of control.
Está la gente parada, está saliendo humo, está pegando puertas ahí. Y ahí había un niñito cerca. Chula, me voy a cagar. Queda todo el edificio sin luz. Había niñitos cerca y no caché el que se escucha llorando. No creo que le haya pasado nada, pero debe ser por el susto.
On February 11, 2026, locals in Antofagasta, Chile saw smoke oozing from the pavement in the center of the road. A subterranean electrical chamber burst a few minutes later. 6,000 individuals lost electricity quickly due to the blast's extreme force. There were no reports of casualties even though pedestrians were near the blast. The event has been subject of an open inquiry. This unsettling security footage comes from a small restaurant in China. At first, everything appears normal. Customers sitting, staff moving around, a typical evening unfolding without concern. Then without warning, headlights flash through the glass. A car suddenly reverses straight into the storefront, shattering the entrance and sending tables and chairs flying. Panic erupts instantly. Reports suggest the driver had only been licensed for 2 months and accidentally pressed the accelerator instead of the brake while in reverse. A woman in a red shirt was injured, though said to be minor. Still, it's chilling how one small mistake can cause such sudden chaos. On July 26, 2022, at exactly 9:46 p.m., a surveillance camera outside a community center in Norcross, Georgia, captured what appeared to be an ordinary moment. A teenage girl stood near the roadside speaking with a man dressed in a police uniform. Nothing in the grainy footage immediately suggested danger. Cars passed, streetlights glowed. The interaction seemed brief and routine. That video would later become the final known image of 16-year-old Susana Morales alive. Earlier that day, Susana had been doing what many teenagers do during summer break, spending time with friends. She told her mother she planned to visit one friend but later decided to meet another instead. It was a simple change in plans, the kind that happens every day in households across the country. That small shift, however, would become critically important. That evening, Susana went to the Sterling Glen Apartments in Norcross, not far from her family's home. She was creative and expressive, known for singing around the house, experimenting with makeup, and playing the ukulele. She had dreams for her future. Nothing about that Tuesday night suggested it would be her last. Around 10 p.m., she began walking home alone. The route was short and familiar. She had walked it many times before. For added reassurance, her phone had a tracking app that allowed her family to monitor her location in real time. At 9:46, the camera recorded her walking calmly along the road. Shortly after, her family noticed something alarming on the tracking app. The blue dot representing Susana abruptly changed direction. Then it began moving quickly, far too quickly for someone on foot. Data showed the phone traveling at approximately 40 miles per hour. She wasn't driving. Moments later, a text message was sent from her phone saying she was on her way home. She never arrived. At 10:30 p.m., one of her friends received a crash notification alert from her phone. Then the device stopped moving entirely. Her family immediately began searching. They drove through nearby streets, calling her name, hoping there was an explanation. As the hours passed and she did not return, panic turned into dread. Just a short distance from where Susana had last been seen lived 22-year-old Miles Bryant, a Gwinnett County police officer. He also worked as a courtesy officer at the Sterling Glen Apartments, receiving discounted rent in exchange for helping maintain order at the complex. He served in the National Guard and was viewed as responsible and trustworthy. On the morning after Susana disappeared, Bryant reported that his service weapon, a Glock 19, had been stolen from his truck overnight. He claimed the gun and holster were missing, but nothing else had been taken. At that time, Susana was still officially a missing person, and no immediate connection was made. For 6 months, her family lived in uncertainty. Authorities launched extensive search efforts. Drones scanned wooded areas. Digital evidence was analyzed. Investigators followed tips and retraced Susana's last known movements. Meanwhile, Bryant continued working. He even assisted in aspects of the search. On February 6, 2023, a man riding an off-road vehicle discovered human remains in a wooded area near Highway 316 in Georgia. The remains were later identified as Susana Morales. Nearby, investigators found a Glock 19 pistol lying on the ground. When they checked the serial number, it matched the firearm Bryant had reported stolen months earlier. That discovery shifted the investigation dramatically. Detectives brought Bryant in for questioning. At first, he maintained composure. He denied involvement and suggested other possibilities. However, investigators had begun reviewing phone records. Bryant had 2 phones, a personal phone and a work phone. Data revealed that in the early morning hours following Susanna's disappearance, both devices had connected to cell towers near the remote wooded area where her remains were eventually found. This contradicted his statements. Witnesses also came forward, reporting that Bryant had approached Susanna and her friends in the past, offering them rides. He denied having meaningful contact with her. As detectives continued digging, they uncovered additional concerns. Bryant had previously been involved in incidents where he entered women's apartments without authorization while acting in his role as courtesy officer. Surveillance footage showed him attempting to access another woman's apartment after Susanna disappeared. Prosecutors later described a pattern of predatory behavior. On June 5, 2024, nearly 2 years after Susanna vanished, Bryant went to trial. The prosecution built its case on digital evidence, location data, witness testimony, and the recovery of the firearm. While there was no direct eyewitness to the crime itself, the circumstantial evidence formed a clear narrative. The defense argued that there was no direct physical evidence placing Bryant at the scene of the killing, but the jury weighed the timeline, the phone data, and the recovered weapon. After just 2 hours of deliberation, the jury returned guilty verdicts on all counts. Miles Bryant was sentenced to life in prison. For Susanna's family, the verdict brought a measure of accountability, but not relief. No sentence could restore what was lost. Her case remains a stark reminder of how quickly ordinary moments can turn irreversible. A short walk home, a brief roadside conversation, a uniform that conveyed authority and trust. Susanna Morales should have arrived home safely that night. Instead, her final moments were captured on a surveillance camera, frozen in time. Her story continues to resonate, not because it's mysterious, but because it underscores something deeply unsettling. Danger does not always look unfamiliar. Sometimes it wears a badge. Here we have terrifying footage from an amusement park. No words, just watch. This was an attraction at an amusement park in China that thrilled many visitors. These individuals, however, found themselves in a terrifying predicament as the ride malfunctioned while they were suspended upside down. And just to add to the horror, it began to spin ominously too. The duration of their ordeal remains a mystery, and it's uncertain if there were any injuries. But fortunately, they all made it out alive.
Lá vem ela nadando. Meu Deus!
Cadê a mãe?
Ah, tá conseguindo ver. Não, tá ruim? Meu Deus do céu!
A riverbank tourist destination in Candice, Tujari, Brazil, took a turn for the worse. A supporting cable broke and the bridge collapsed on February 8, 2026, as tourists awaited a mermaid show. The attraction's operator released a statement shortly after, claiming that despite warning signs and microphone announcements about the 5-person maximum capacity being placed, the limit was disregarded. More than 15 people received minor medical attention from rescuers. The accident is being looked into by local authorities. At a TJ Maxx in Clarksville, Tennessee, what started as a routine shoplifting call quickly escalated.
Spray! Spray! Black Dodge Stratus, fleeing the scene. Oh! Assault on officer! Assault on officer! Sarge, I'm here with you. I got you. I got you. Assault on an officer.
An officer responded to the store expecting a standard theft report. Instead, the suspect pulled out bear spray and discharged it directly at him before running off. Bear spray is significantly stronger than regular pepper spray, designed to deter large animals, and can cause intense pain and temporary blindness. The woman fled but was later located and arrested in Lebanon, Tennessee. What began as a simple shoplifting case quickly turned into multiple felony charges, including assault on a law enforcement officer. On January 29, 2024, a video posted by a user named Akina began circulating online, quickly gaining attention for what many described as a chilling encounter. Akina lives in the Philippines with her boyfriend and their newborn baby. On the night in question, however, she was home alone. Her boyfriend was at work. That detail is important. According to Akina, what she captured on camera that evening didn't make sense. She later suggested that what she saw may have been some kind of doppelganger. The word doppelganger comes from German meaning double walker and is often used to describe a supposed supernatural duplicate of a living person. In folklore, encountering one's double is sometimes considered an omen, associated with misfortune, danger, illness, or even death. In the video, the door inside her home suddenly swings open. Akina claims that when she looked up, she saw what appeared to be her boyfriend standing there. Despite knowing he was at work at the time, the narration in the clip, originally in her native language, was later translated into English by viewers trying to understand her reaction. Her voice reportedly carries confusion and fear as she tries to process what she's seeing. The footage itself spread rapidly, amassing roughly 14 million views in a short period. In the comment sections across platforms, viewers began sharing their own stories of seeing someone who looked like a loved one when that person was confirmed to be elsewhere. Others speculated about explanations ranging from mistaken perception to stress-induced hallucinations, especially given that Akina had recently given birth and may have been exhausted. It's worth noting that lack of sleep, anxiety, and heightened alertness, particularly in new parents, can significantly affect perception. Shadows, reflections, and even quick movements can be misinterpreted in moments of fatigue. But for Akina, the experience felt real and deeply unsettling. As of the last known updates, she had not posted a follow-up explaining what ultimately happened or whether there was a rational explanation. That silence only fueled speculation. Whether paranormal, psychological, or simply a misunderstanding amplified by fear, the encounter clearly shook her. Being home alone with a newborn when something unexplainable seems to happen would rattle anyone. So what do you think? Was it a trick of life, exhaustion playing tricks on her mind, or something stranger? What began as a routine emergency dispatch quickly devolved into one of the most disturbing crime scenes officers in Las Cruces, New Mexico had encountered in years. It was early morning when 911 received a frantic call from a passerby who had just arrived at a neighborhood children's park. The caller's voice was shaky. At first, the description was unclear. Something was on the ground near the roadway, and it didn't look right. The dispatcher pressed for details, but the caller struggled to articulate what they were seeing. Officers were sent to investigate what was initially treated as a possible medical emergency. But the moment they arrived, they knew this was something far worse. The park, usually filled with families, joggers, and children playing on the swings, sat eerily quiet. Patrol vehicles pulled in slowly, lights flashing against the empty playground equipment. Near the edge of the roadway lay a man who had clearly been deceased for some time. There was no pulse to check, no life-saving measures to attempt. The severity of the injuries made it immediately obvious this was a homicide. Even seasoned officers paused at the site. The victim had suffered extreme trauma. Backup units were requested without hesitation. Within minutes, the area was secured and crime scene tape stretched across the once ordinary park. The playground, normally a place of laughter and movement, fell into heavy silence. As officers began processing the scene, one detail stood out. Not far away, seated beneath a tree within view of the roadway, was a man. He wasn't attempting to flee. He wasn't hiding behind bushes or trying to disappear into the neighborhood. He was just sitting there. When officers approached, they noticed blood on his hands. It stained his clothing. His posture was strangely calm, almost detached. He did not resist when ordered to stand. He raised his hands and allowed himself to be taken into custody without a struggle. Nearby, officers located a small knife with visible blood on the blade. The suspect was identified as Joel Aringa Science. The victim was soon identified as 51-year-old James Garcia. The brutality of what had occurred became clearer as investigators examined the scene. Garcia's body and head were found separated by nearly 20 feet. Drag marks in the grass indicated that the attack had likely begun in one location before the body was moved into the roadway. The scene suggested a violent and prolonged assault. An autopsy later confirmed multiple injuries consistent with intentional and repeated trauma. With Science in custody, detectives shifted their focus to understanding what had led to such extreme violence. At the police station, Science was placed in an interrogation room. Detectives began with straightforward questions. Why was he in the park? How did he know the victim? How'd Garcia end up dead? Initially, Science denied involvement. He claimed he didn't know what had happened. He gave vague answers when asked about the blood on his clothes. He avoided eye contact and appeared disoriented at times. For nearly 30 minutes, the questioning yielded little progress. Detectives then changed their approach. They confronted him with the evidence: the knife found nearby, the blood on his hands, his presence at the scene. They began exploring whether there was a prior relationship between him and Garcia. At that point, something shifted. Science's demeanor changed from distant to defensive. His voice grew sharper. His calm posture gave way to agitation. Eventually, under mounting pressure, he admitted to killing James Garcia. He claimed the act stemmed from a long-standing personal grievance. However, investigators later stated there was no documented evidence of an ongoing dispute between the two men, no restraining orders, no recorded threats, no police reports indicating prior violence between them. As Science described the assault, detectives noted a troubling lack of visible remorse. He spoke about the attack in a flat tone, recounting how he had inflicted the fatal wounds and dragged Garcia's body into the roadway. The confession solidified the case, but it also raised broader concerns. Further investigation into Science's background revealed that he was no stranger to law enforcement. Just weeks before the park homicide, he had been arrested following a vandalism spree that caused significant property damage to several local businesses. In that incident, eerie messages had reportedly been left behind at the damaged locations. Despite the seriousness of those charges, he had been released while awaiting trial. Even more unsettling was a detail from his distant past. Years earlier, Science had been charged in connection with another homicide. That case ultimately collapsed due to insufficient evidence and he was released. The pattern of serious allegations followed by release sparked difficult questions among members of the community. Were there warning signs that had been missed? Could earlier prevention have prevented what happened at the park? Those questions lingered long after the arrest. Meanwhile, James Garcia's family was left grappling with unimaginable grief. What had begun as an ordinary day ended in catastrophic loss. The randomness of the location, a public children's park, intensified the shock. It was a place associated with safety, not violence. As the case moved forward, Science underwent a psychological evaluation to determine whether he was competent to stand trial. He was ultimately deemed fit to proceed. In March 2025, nearly 2 years after the killing, Joel Aringa's Science stood trial before a jury. Over the course of a week, prosecutors presented the forensic evidence, photographs from the scene, analysis of the weapon, blood pattern documentation, and testimony from the officers who responded that morning. The confession was introduced. The medical examiner detailed the extent of Garcia's injuries and confirmed that the attack had been deliberate and sustained. The defense attempted to challenge aspects of intent, but the weight of the evidence was substantial. After deliberating for only 2 hours, the jury returned a verdict of guilty on the charge of premeditated murder. Science was sentenced to life in prison. For the officers who had responded to that initial 911 call, the case remained etched in memory. Many later described how quickly the situation escalated from uncertainty to horror. What they thought might be a routine welfare check turned into one of the most gruesome scenes of their careers. For the City of Las Cruces, the children's park would never quite feel the same. Though families eventually returned and the tape came down, the knowledge of what happened there lingered beneath the surface. For James Garcia's loved ones, the verdict brought accountability, but not closure in the true sense of the word. No sentence could reverse the violence. No courtroom outcome could restore what was taken. The case serves as a sobering reminder that extreme acts of violence can unfold in ordinary settings without warning. A public park, a clear morning, a routine call. Within minutes, everything changed. And for those who were there, that moment remains frozen, a stark illustration of how fragile normalcy can be.
Good. The driver. Driver is some but it's मोबाइल में लग रहा है और गाड़ी चल रही है आराम से ये वो करलाई रोड पर क्या करीब का ही बॉर्डर गाड़ी और ये ड्राइवर है फिर लोड चला रहा ये देख जरा चलो ये देख पामुंडे रहा.
Your entire focus is already needed when driving on a busy roadway. However, this Indian footage goes to a whole new level of careless driving. On January 14, 2026, a truck driver was seen driving in an astonishing manner in a video. The man was really lying down in the cabin with his legs crossed, lazily browsing through his phone while operating the enormous truck with just one hand, all while ignoring the road. This motorist is playing Russian roulette with the lives of everyone on the road, and it's horrifying how blindly confident he is. In January 2024, a TikTok user named Alyssa posted a video that quickly gained attention for how fast a normal evening spiraled into something genuinely frightening. The caption read, "POV, you find out your date might be racist, so you dip and he follows you home." According to Alyssa, the situation started at a bar during what she described as an uncomfortable first date. At some point in the evening, she says the man made comments that raised serious red flags. When he went to the bathroom, she decided not to confront him. She simply left. No argument, no scene, just a quiet exit. What she didn't realize at the time was that he noticed. As she drove home, she says her phone was lighting up with non-stop calls from him. She ignored them, assuming he was just upset that she had left. She had no idea he was allegedly behind her the entire time. That changed when she pulled into her single-car driveway. Moments later, headlights filled her rear-view mirror. The same man she had just left at the bar pulled in directly behind her, effectively blocking her car in. What had been an uncomfortable date instantly turned into a stalking situation. The recording begins at that point. Alyssa can be heard speaking from inside her vehicle, clearly shaken but trying to stay composed. The man approaches her car, demanding she talk to him. His tone escalates quickly. What stands out is how rapidly the situation intensifies, from awkward confrontation to aggressive behavior in seconds. It's the kind of moment that makes your heart race just watching it.
Do not get aggressive with me at all.
I'm not aggressive, but I'm asking you to be honest with me, and you weren't.
I'm so
what was my option?
bewildered, and I am.
I would have never heard from you. I've been down this road.
Okay, but you don't know me. You don't know me. Why would you follow me home? I feel so unsafe right now. The fact that you followed me home, like when I
did not mean it that way. I said I am the furthest from racist person, but I'm not.
No, you're not. Because the furthest person from racist would never use that word.
All right, I'm calling my black friends right now. So you
no, I don't.
No, I'm being so fucking
I
serious.
don't want. No,
because
no.
I am not. Yes, because I drove an hour.
What kind of respect do you have?
What kind of respect did you receive? For what type of respect did I get when you left me at the bar, you bitch? What kind of respect did I get when I spent $300 on you? You cunt. Alright, go yourself.
In the clip, Alyssa remains inside her locked vehicle, refusing to engage beyond what's necessary. Diffuses, she doesn't get out, she doesn't argue, she keeps distance. Eventually, the situation diffuses enough for her to get to safety. Viewers widely agreed she dodged a bullet by leaving the date early. What she couldn't have predicted, though, was him following her home. That detail turned what could have been a bad evening into something potentially dangerous. While there was no publicly confirmed report detailing police involvement, Alyssa later posted updates reassuring followers that she was safe. Based on her follow-ups, it appears the man did not continue harassing her beyond that night. The incident sparked a larger conversation online about dating safety. Many people pointed out how important it is to trust early red flags. If someone displays troubling behavior on a first date, whether it's aggression, bigotry, possessiveness, or volatility, that's often enough reason to leave. It also reinforced another crucial safety tip. If you believe someone is following you, do not drive home. Instead, head to a well-lit public area or directly to the nearest police station. Going home reveals your address and can escalate the threat. Alyssa's decision to leave the bar was guided by intuition. That instinct likely protected her from spending more time with someone whose behavior only worsened. But the experience is a reminder that sometimes leaving is only step one. Remaining aware of your surroundings afterward is just as important. If you ever find yourself in a similar situation, trust your gut. Keep doors locked, avoid isolated areas, and don't hesitate to involve authorities if someone follows or blocks you in, because sometimes the most dangerous moment isn't during the date, it's what happens after. Here we have some chilling CCTV footage captured in Babo, a town and municipality located in the Colombian department of Antioquia. The next occurrences are absolutely mind-blowing. Two men on a motorcycle ride through the eerie landscape, but an ominous presence lurks in the shadows, drawing closer with each passing moment. What loomed before us was an enormous boulder. I anticipated encountering an animal or perhaps a vehicle, but a boulder? That's truly unexpected. Preliminary reports indicate that a terrifying landslide has taken place. A minor incident, yet it was enough to send the boulder tumbling down the slope, ultimately leading to the crushing of their bike.
Düşür Allah kalem. Bu kapak hazır. Yok, ben de atırlar gerek bir ara. Ne zaman? Dalay götürürlük. Bir faydatla gerek. Ha? İsteyen kadar avtobüs var. Allah için atıyor atırlar. Dalayla.
Не брали уходить? Чего?
А, финикаля.
О, разгон набирает карар така.
О!
Saat beri jetel, jeli. Araç kalay kerek. Surat kaldıra kerek.
Войдет.
Oh.
I typically display videos of unexpected avalanches, but it's definitely not something you see every day when real weapons of war are used to initiate one. On February 4th, 2026, officials destroyed the snow atop Russia's Mount Elbrus, the highest mountain in Europe with heavy artillery. In order to save ski resorts, the collision caused a controlled avalanche that produced a thick mist that cleared the slopes. The goal of this effort is to keep the snowpack from becoming unstable and lethal. What you're witnessing is a terrifying artifact known as the Hell Cannon, discovered in Syria. Essentially, they function like mortars, utilizing propane tanks as their explosive projectiles. Prepare yourself for the unexpected. When handling tanks, it's crucial to lower them into the cannon with utmost caution, and at times, the rope can break suddenly, just as it happened in this instance, and that nearly led to a terrifying twist. I can't help but think if this would be classified as a creation of human terror. Honestly, they resemble fragments of shrapnel packed tightly into a propane tank. It's terrifying. A chilling clip captured during a flash flood reveals youngsters frolicking by the riverbank, blissfully unaware of the raging torrent surging ominously behind them. Despite the impending danger, they seem to disregard the gravity of the situation. Watch closely if you dare. Flash floods on riverbeds are among the most perilous natural phenomena that can strike unexpectedly. These terrifying events occur when intense rainfall or rapid snowmelt inundates dry riverbeds or streams, morphing them into ferocious torrents in mere moments. In arid regions, dry riverbeds known as arroyos or wadis may appear harmless, yet they can swiftly become lethal flood channels. The ground in these areas is often parched and incapable of absorbing significant amounts of water, causing rain to rush off rapidly into the riverbeds. Even if precipitation is occurring miles away, water can surge downstream, obliterating everything in its path, including trees, vehicles, and people all around. It's astonishing these youngsters managed to escape. They were blissfully unaware of the terrifying peril they faced. Before I roll this next disturbing clip, imagine yourself driving down a highway. On a chilling evening, Peter Coffey found himself immersed in an eerie affair. However, what he recorded took a chilling turn.
I have chops, I swear. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. A plane just crashed onto a highway. On a highway right in front of us. Holy wow.
They look like they're okay.
Wow.
Just picture it, a plane descending from the sky, touching down right on the highway. The sheer shock of that moment would be unforgettable. The sheer shock and terror of that moment is enough to send chills down your spine. It's absolutely chilling that everyone made it through. Just picture yourself caught in a chilling moment where fate has led you to the most unsettling scenario imaginable. In a seemingly ordinary moment during a football game, fans can be seen passionately chanting a song and bouncing with excitement. It might appear to be just another instance of spirited football enthusiasm, but hold on, watch this video closely and prepare for an unexpected twist. Football and soccer stadiums are crafted with a vital consideration: safety. This is particularly important when dealing with massive, enthusiastic crowds. As fans leap and cheer in unison, they generate a tremendous force and vibration. To manage this, contemporary stadiums are designed to be flexible, effectively absorbing and dispersing that energy, ensuring there is no threat of structural harm. Engineers also integrate expansion joints that enable parts of the structure to shift slightly without cracking or breaking. This flexibility is crucial in preventing stress points from accumulating in one area and spreading, ensuring the integrity of the entire structure. Furthermore, the layout of the stands and seating configurations guarantees that the weight and movement of the crowd are evenly spread across the stadium. These safety measures, along with cutting-edge monitoring systems, ensure that even during the most exhilarating moments, the structure stays intact, protecting fans as they revel in the excitement of the game. It was supposed to be the start of a family vacation. Suitcases were packed, the car was loaded, and Elizabeth was minutes away from leaving it all behind. But as she stood in her driveway, she wasn't thinking about the road ahead. She was watching her husband, Nicholas, being led away in handcuffs. Nicholas was at the house in direct violation of a no-contact order. When police arrived, Elizabeth didn't just stay silent. She actively obstructed, buying her husband time to hide while screaming at the officers. As the realization set in that her vacation was over, Elizabeth's grief curled into terrifying rage. She didn't blame her husband for breaking the law, and she didn't blame the police for enforcing it. Instead, she turned her sights on her neighbors. Believing they were the ones who'd snitched, she began an unfiltered tirade of malice, wishing death upon the officers and the families next door.
Get over here. So what's going on? Get arrested. For the first time ever, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. You guys are pieces of shit. I hope you know that.
Okay. Do you want to provide a statement or anything?
Yeah, you guys are pieces of shit, and you should all. That's my statement.
Were you aware of the order between you guys?
Yeah, the order that you guys put on there. That I've been trying to get off for 10 years. Yeah, I'm aware of that bullshit.
Okay.
You are the worst I've ever met in my life. I hope you all get shot in tonight. Every last one of you kids. I hate you. I'm not going to go anywhere near him. I know the rules.
Well, you're going in his direction.
I can go wherever the fuck I want. It's a free country. Bet me. Don't arrest me in front of my daughter, dude.
That's your choice.
No, it's yours.
Yeah, all you have to do is go inside and walk away.
That's my husband. You used to f up my entire life. Do you understand that? Why the f didn't you run? I bought you all kinds of time.
Are you trying to get him to run away?
Yeah, I want him to run, dude. We're going on vacation right now. We're leaving for vacation. My faggot ex-boyfriend, why they call him being daughters right there. We're going on vacation. Like, we're in 10 minutes, we wouldn't have been here. How would you like if somebody showed up with your wife and ruined your vacation?
I have no contact order.
If against your will, that you've gone to court multiple times to get rid of, and they just won't do it because they're stupid? Do you understand that you're ruining our life?
I'm not ready.
Yes, you are. Let him go.
I can't do that. You know that, right?
Right, I know that. Yeah. Because you guys are out for, the federal police department is only out to hurt people. You guys don't do any good in the world.
That's not true.
I love you. I'm so sorry. I will make sure that Justin pays for this with his life. I hate you.
Okay.
I hope each one of you gets shot and killed in the f***ing head. So that neither one of you get to go home to your wife either. Or your kids. If I could shoot you myself, I would. Hey, can he say goodbye to his daughter?
No. Because you're acting like that, you're going to make it worse for her.
Did you give her dad a hug?
No.
Please.
No, you've ruined that.
Because of your behavior.
Yeah. Your behavior. No, it's too late.
Work like that. You're not going to threaten our lives, call us racist remarks, and then ask us for a favor.
No.
After we're protecting an order that protects you.
It doesn't protect me.
Yeah, it does. And I'm not going to argue with you, but no, she cannot see him right now.
She can't give him a hug goodbye.
No, ma'am. No.
He's going for like 10 years.
Can we bounce? I don't think she's going to.
We're ready to go.
Yeah, let's just go.
Yep.
You want me to take him up there?
Yeah.
We have him. He's going back to PD.
Okay.
She doesn't want to do anything.
Okay.
Get the f off my street, you
He's going here.
Police eventually cleared the scene, but the nightmare was only beginning for the neighbors. Minutes later, the 911 dispatch received a frantic call. Elizabeth hadn't gone inside to cool off. She was standing on her property, allegedly screaming that she was going to burn her neighbor's house to the ground.
The neighbor is over there yelling at you currently, correct?
Yep.
Would you be willing to aid in prosecution if we can develop some sort of criminal threats from this?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What is she saying to you?
She told me that she's going to shoot me in my head, that her gun is on her way down here, she's going to set my house on fire, that I'm dead to her, she hopes I lose everything. Like, she's called me several times.
Okay. How does that make you feel? How are you feeling right now?
I'm, one, scared for my life because I'm being threatened to be killed.
Okay.
And two, I own my home, and so her threatening to damage my property is ridiculous.
Okay. So you believe that there is potential credibility to her threats?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Is she armed with anything right now, or?
She's outside calling somebody else too, yelling for somebody else.
When officers returned, the atmosphere had shifted from hostile to dangerous. Elizabeth's own sister was on the scene, trying to act as a buffer, but even she couldn't hide the reality. Elizabeth had spiraled.
Are you on the phone with the dispatcher?
No, I'm on my mother. Hi.
Yeah.
So I know we talked about it before, but she's starting. We have a niece in here. Yep. She's talking. He's been there. He's been sitting here the whole time, knowing that she's threatening to burn the house down. She's threatening to shoot her in the head.
Yeah, same thing she was saying before we left.
The other lady, whoever she just is, she's gone, but that's who she called the police on just now. I'm afraid for my niece.
Yep.
The officers used a ruse to get her out of the house, asking her to discuss a friend who had called the station. The moment she stepped into the driveway, the trap was set.
We really need her outside.
Yeah.
Please just watch her. And just be cool with her. Like.
Hey, Elizabeth. Come out here and talk to me real quick.
What's going on with your friend?
With what?
Your friend.
About your friend?
Elizabeth, she's got deals. She's not supposed to be here in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have arrested her when you were here the first time.
Okay.
She got deals. Whoa. Okay, wait. Mom, I'm being arrested. Mom, I'm being arrested. Mom, I'm being arrested.
I lost my cuffs on the last
Mom,
one.
I'm being arrested. Come to Haley right now. I'm not resisting. I'm not going to resist. Mom, I'm being arrested. Can my mom come get my daughter, please?
Yeah, that'd be preferable.
Okay. Yes, Mom, come to Haley right now. I'm not.
Is this one,
Hey, I'm not going to resist. Haley, Grandma's on her way. I promise.
Tell her Grammy's on her way. Tell her to get her cell phone.
She's in there screaming. Her cell phone's in the car, Mom. I can't tell her anything. They're taking me to the car. I can't tell her anything.
Okay, well, then ask the officer to tell her to get the
No,
cell phone.
no, I don't want officers anywhere near my daughter.
Ma'am, we're not leaving. We're not leaving it. We need you to come here as soon as possible. That's all. Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about granddaughter yet. We'll stay here with granddaughter until you arrive. We just need to be as soon as possible.
You do not need to go near my daughter.
There will be. I'm on my way.
Why am I being arrested? Because I got inside with the neighbor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I threatened the neighbor. Actually, I mean, you gotta understand. My husband was just arrested. We're on our way. Like 10 minutes later, and we wouldn't have been here. My ex-boyfriend.
Anything you say right now can be used against you in court of law, okay?
That's fine. Can I show you what happened, though?
Nope, just a sec.
So, Justin, and I'm sure that he's the one that called you.
All right, we'll go ahead and step
He's
inside.
my ex-boyfriend, okay? And he's super mad that we're going on vacation without him. And so that's why he called and told you guys about Nick being here or whatever. Okay? Because Nick's my husband. He was my boyfriend, and he wanted to go on vacation with us, and I told him he couldn't go because they don't get along. Okay? So Nick didn't do anything wrong. There's no reason for you guys to come over. Okay? I apologize for threatening the neighbor. I understand that why I'm going to jail. But I was just so upset that they ruined my vacation and took my husband from me.
Once secured in the back of the cruiser, Elizabeth's persona shifted again, this time to the victim. She admitted to lying to protect her husband, yet in the same breath, she tried to convince the officers that her death threats were merely embellishments by the neighbors. She claimed she never threatened to use a gun, only that she hoped the neighbor got shot. To Elizabeth, this was a meaningful distinction. To the law, it was a felony.
You're saying to your neighbor?
I just told her she was a snitch, and that she should have let my husband hide.
What else did you...
And then I hope she...
Okay. Did you threaten her with anything else?
No. I hope she... Because, like, she should have let him hide, or he should have ran. I just wanted everything to go back to normal and just go on vacation with my husband.
Did you threaten her at all? Did you say you're going to threaten her with a gun?
No, I don't even have a gun. I said I hope she got shot, but I didn't tell you that I didn't say that I was going to do that. I said I hope she got shot.
And that you're going to burn her house down?
And then I hope her house burns down, but I didn't say that I was going to do that. I said I hope your house burns down and I hope you get shot. That's what I said. But I didn't say that I was going to do it. I don't even have a gun. I don't even own a gun. So I was just mad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I said that to her. I wish she would have let my husband run or hide. I wish she would have done something other than tattle on him. But I shouldn't have said those things. But no, I don't have anybody that can bring me. I don't have anybody that can do that. I didn't say that.
And you were aware that your husband, Nicholas, was in the house, right?
No, I did not know he was in the house.
Well,
he had just gotten here. He hadn't been in the house. The first time he came in the house was when he saw you guys. He had just gotten here.
Exactly. But you lied to us when we said that we saw Nicholas and when he went in the house, correct? I didn't. I thought it was Jeff. I truly, honest to God, thought it was Jeff. But you said to Nicholas that he should have ran and you bought him time, correct?
I did say that.
Okay. So you knew that he was in the house and you're helping him. Do you see where I'm coming from, Elizabeth?
I do.
Elizabeth's attempt to protect a criminal and her subsequent meltdown transformed a misdemeanor situation into a life-altering legal battle. Under Washington state law, the magnitude and specificity of her threats elevated her harassment charge to a Class C felony. What was meant to be a week relaxation ended with a husband and wife both behind bars, a daughter left with her grandmother, and a neighborhood left wondering if their homes would ever truly be safe again. What you're witnessing is eerie footage captured from a foundry shop in Burk, a chilling suburb of the Russian city of Novosibirsk. The chilling footage was captured on the 28th of November 2025. This incident is absolutely chilling. In a chilling twist of fate, this man was simply filming, completely oblivious to the fact that he was about to document a terrifying event. It seems that some water made its way into the molten metal, triggering a terrifying explosion that sent hot metal flying in all directions. Ultimately, 3 individuals sustained injuries, and while they didn't pose a direct threat to life, I would argue they were far from insignificant. The Motorcycle Travel channel uploaded a video documenting a ride across one of the oldest and most unforgiving routes in the United States, El Camino del Diablo, which translates to the Road of the Devil. From the very beginning, the atmosphere feels heavy. This isn't just another off-road adventure filled with scenic overlooks and smooth desert trails. There is history here, and not the comforting kind. El Camino del Diablo stretches across a remote desert of southern Arizona, running dangerously close to the US-Mexico border. Long before engines, GPS systems, and satellite trackers, this path was used by native tribes, Spanish explorers, missionaries, gold seekers, and later desperate migrants trying to cross harsh terrain. What they found wasn't a road in the modern sense. It was scorched earth, endless sand, brutal heat, and a silence so complete it can feel suffocating. Many travelers underestimated it. Some never made it through.
Guys, welcome back, and welcome to El Camino del Diablo, the Road of the Devil. I'm down here in Ajo, Arizona at the start of this ride, and in this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know to do this ride yourself. So hopefully you'll find it inspiring and learn what you need to know about riding El Camino del Diablo. The Devil's Highway is a historic road through some of the most remote and arid terrain in the Sonoran Desert. It's been in use for at least 1,000 years, and it's believed to have started as a series of footpaths used by desert-dwelling Native Americans. The Camino del Diablo was one of the most dangerous desert overland routes in America. This is one of the hottest and driest parts of the United States. From the 16th through the 19th century, the road was used by conquistadors, explorers, miners, missionaries, settlers, gold prospectors, cartographers. El Camino del Diablo has always been one of the classic overland routes, and it still is, although it has changed quite a bit recently, and you'll learn why in this video. The version that I did of this ride was about 150 miles, starting in Ajo, Arizona, and ending in Welton.
Before beginning the ride, the creator carefully prepares extra water, fuel, recovery tools, emergency supplies, everything he believes he might need. But there's an understanding that preparation doesn't equal safety. The desert doesn't negotiate. Even today, modern travelers must obtain permits and pass checkpoints. Authorities monitor the area because it's so easy for things to go wrong. In the past, people disappeared along this stretch. Harsh exposure, mechanical breakdowns, dehydration. The road has claimed lives without warning.
Well, this is it. I'm at the start of El Camino del Diablo, Road of the Devil. We got about 150 miles to go. No services, no food, no gas, nothing but the pure Sonoran Desert out here. And it's going good so far. I was able to capture a couple scenes on video and get the drone up in the air. And we're just going to head out in the desert. We're going to keep going down this road here, see what's up ahead. El Camino del Diablo is a dirt road. It's suitable for four-wheel drive, high-clearance vehicles, but you really need to be careful, carry extra water, supplies, emergency equipment, etc. It has long sections with no cell phone coverage. There's no emergency or tow services on this route. It has light traffic, which means you can't rely on someone passing by to help you out. And although I did do this route alone on my motorcycle, it is recommended that you would travel at least with another vehicle. I would avoid traveling this route during the summer. It could get up to like 120 degrees, and you really need to be prepared. Be prepared to be on your own on this trip if something goes wrong.
As the journey unfolds, he rides through vast emptiness broken only by rock formations and low desert brush. Eventually, he encounters Border Patrol agents, one of the only visible signs of human presence in miles of open terrain. In a place this isolated, even that small interaction feels reassuring. It's proof that someone else is out there, but the real danger isn't always obvious. One of the most deceptive threats comes from the sand. On the surface, it can appear firm and stable. Beneath it, however, lies soft, shifting terrain that can swallow tires instantly. Entire vehicles have become trapped this way. Riders burn through precious fuel and water trying to dig themselves free. Fatigue sets in quickly under desert heat. He hits one patch and nearly loses control. Then he encounters another. Each time, the bike struggles for traction, threatening to sink deeper. The tension builds because there's no easy exit and no quick rescue. If something breaks out there, help could be hours, possibly days away.
I was scouting out this road behind me for a potential campsite, and when I came out, the sand got really deep and I got stuck. The back wheel is all the way under, so I'm going to try to get it out. I'm going to try to fill in this hole with some more sand. Kind of like that. We'll get the bike back upright. Try again.
Eventually, after freeing his bike, he makes a decision many travelers before him have made. He camps in the very isolation that nearly trapped him. He's fortunate, others haven't been. Some visitors have reported being stranded for long stretches with dwindling supplies and an unsettling awareness of how alone they truly are. El Camino del Diablo doesn't look dramatic at first glance. That's what makes it dangerous. It's quiet, vast, and indifferent. The question isn't whether it looks survivable. The question is whether you're willing to test it. In the early hours of Saturday, May 27, 2017, at exactly 3:23 a.m., a blue Volkswagen City Golf sat parked along a quiet residential street in Stellenbosch, South Africa. The university town, known for its oak-lined road and vineyards, was wrapped in the stillness that settles in just before dawn. Beside the car stood 21-year-old Hannah Cornelius and her close friend Cheslyn Chess Marsh. They were saying goodbye after spending the evening with friends. It had been a typical student night: laughter, conversation, a break from the pressure of coursework and exams. To anyone who might have glanced their way, nothing seemed unusual. Two university students finishing a night out, a quick farewell before heading home. What they couldn't see were four men lingering nearby in the darkness. Surveillance footage later revealed figures moving along the street, watching, waiting. In those final calm moments, the kind that feel so ordinary they barely register, Hannah's life was about to change forever. Hannah Cornelius had been born on February 12, 1996. She grew up in a structured, supportive household. Her father worked within the justice system, and her mother was a lawyer. Education and discipline were important in their home, but so was compassion. As the older sibling, Hannah took particular care of her younger brother, especially as he faced learning challenges. Friends later described her as protective, thoughtful, and deeply invested in her family. At school, Hannah excelled. She was academically gifted, musically talented, and comfortable performing in front of others. She played piano, acted in school productions, and graduated with strong results. Teachers remembered her as ambitious and curious. Friends described her as warm, driven, and generous with her time. In 2015, she enrolled at Stellenbosch University to study humanities. The town was considered one of South Africa's premier academic hubs, picturesque and vibrant. Hannah lived in a nearby house and drove a blue and white Volkswagen that had once belonged to her grandmother. She balanced her studies with volunteer work at an animal sanctuary and remained active in student life. During her second year, she developed a close friendship with Cheslyn Marsh, a theology student. Their friendship was built on trust and shared values. They often spent time studying or socializing together. On Friday, May 26, 2017, Hannah and Cheslyn joined friends for a night out. Nothing about the evening suggested danger. When the gathering ended in the early hours of Saturday morning, Cheslyn offered to walk Hannah home. He felt uneasy about her driving alone at that hour. But when they arrived near her residence, Hannah insisted on driving him back instead. She didn't want him walking alone so late. Despite hesitation, he agreed. Shortly after 3 a.m., Hannah parked near Cheslyn's home. The two lingered in conversation inside the car, unaware that they were being observed. Surveillance cameras later showed four men approaching the vehicle. In an instant, everything escalated. The passenger door was open. The pair were overpowered. The car was taken with both Hannah and Cheslyn inside. The vehicle disappeared from camera view. For more than an hour, it moved through surrounding areas. Cheslyn was forced into the trunk. Hannah remained in the front of the vehicle, surrounded by her attackers. At one point, the car stopped at a gas station where attempts were made to use Cheslyn's bank card. Eventually, along a remote road, Cheslyn was pulled from the trunk. He was assaulted and left behind, severely injured. Despite the trauma, he survived. As daylight approached, he managed to reach a nearby home and ask for help. Residents contacted authorities immediately. Cheslyn provided police with as much information as he could recall. A search for Hannah began urgently. Later that morning, her body was discovered in a vineyard outside town. She'd been killed. The news sent shockwaves through Stellenbosch and across South Africa. The attack, captured in part by surveillance cameras, shattered any illusion that the town was immune to violent crime. Meanwhile, the perpetrators continued driving Hannah's vehicle and committing additional crimes. Police eventually tracked them down later that same day. They were arrested after a pursuit. The case moved swiftly through the justice system. In May 2018, the trial began. The prosecution presented overwhelming evidence, including surveillance footage, forensic findings, and Cheslyn's testimony. Despite the physical and emotional scars he carried, Cheslyn took the stand. He recounted the events of that night in detail. His testimony played a critical role in securing convictions. The court ultimately sentenced the main perpetrators to life imprisonment. Another individual involved earlier in the sequence received a lengthy prison term. For Hannah's family, however, no sentence could undo what had happened. In the aftermath, her parents established the Hannah Cornelius Foundation. The organization focuses on empowering vulnerable youth through education and mentorship, an effort to create positive change in her memory. But the grief was immense. Not long after Hannah's death, her mother passed away. Family members later spoke openly about the profound toll the tragedy had taken. Hannah Cornelius is remembered not only for the circumstances of her death, but for the life she lived. She was compassionate, intelligent, and dedicated to helping others. She looked out for her brother. She volunteered her time. She insisted on driving her friend home so he wouldn't have to walk alone. Her story serves as a painful reminder how quickly violence can erupt in ordinary moments. A parked car, a quiet street, a goodbye between friends. What happened in those early hours of May 27, 2017 permanently altered countless lives. And while justice was delivered in a courtroom, the loss remains. Hannah Cornelius should have continued her studies. She should have pursued her ambitions. She should have returned home safely that night. Instead, her legacy now lives on through the foundation bearing her name, a symbol of compassion in the face of unimaginable cruelty. This chilling footage captured by a security camera in Saudi Arabia dates back to 2020. That's the information I stumbled upon. The emptiness of these parked cars sends a chill down your spine, and that's essential. A fierce windstorm unleashed its fury, leading to the ominous collapse of a massive concrete slab. The location it chose was directly above these vehicles. Every single one of those cars was utterly flattened, and if anyone had been inside at that moment, they would have faced a grim fate. A worker on an oil rig made a chilling choice to toss chum over the edge with a buddy. Watch closely to see the shocking events that unfolded next.
Right, go, go, go! Holy shit, right, a bit of meat. Look at all that meat. Oh, wow. They come from nowhere, wow. Oh, juice. That's amazing.
It's quite unsettling to think about those sharks lurking beneath the rig. I can only imagine the terrifying consequences if someone were to fall overboard. Oil rigs positioned in the ocean frequently draw in sharks and other formidable predators. The primary function of rigs is to extract natural resources from the seabed, but they inadvertently transform into artificial reefs for marine life. Fish are attracted to oil rigs drawn in by the shelter and food they provide. Naturally, where there are fish, predators like shark are not far behind. Sharks are known to frequent oil rigs and boats, partly due to their opportunistic feeding habits. The abundance of smaller fish around these structures offers them an effortless source of prey. In certain instances, the sound of boats, vibrations, and even leftover scraps from fishing vessels can entice sharks to come closer. On March 26, 2025, a woman named Diana was jolted awake in the middle of the night by flashing red and blue lights spilling through her bedroom window. Still half asleep, she walked over and looked outside. Several police vehicles were gathered around an old trailer on the property, one that her father had been renting out to a man named Tom. Officers were moving in and out of the trailer, methodically searching the area, unsure of what was happening. Diana grabbed her phone and began recording from inside her house. She felt confused and uneasy, but at that moment, nothing seemed outwardly paranormal. just a tense, late-night police presence. It wasn't until the next morning, after she uploaded the footage to Instagram, that viewers noticed something she hadn't seen.
Wait, they're going up to Tom's place. So wait, you said the light wasn't off?
Yeah, exactly. And I knew that something was going on. Oh, that's a lot of cops.
Holy shit, what the hell? Oh my god, they're calling.
They're coming out.
Are they calling something in? They're going back over. What was Tom doing?
Is there like an app you can check or something?
Oh my Jesus.
In the background of the video near the trailer, a small shadow-like figure briefly appears and vanishes. It's faint but distinct enough that many of her followers immediately began replaying the clip. The shape looked child-sized, dark, and almost fluid in its movement. Diana insists she didn't see anything unusual at the time. Soon after, authorities confirmed that Tom had been found deceased inside the trailer. A few days later, Diana and her father returned to clean out the property. What they encountered only deepened the unease.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, great. Oh my God.
While sorting through belongings, something suddenly dropped from the ceiling, a dead crow. The unexpected sight startled them, but it wasn't the only disturbing detail inside.
Wait a minute. Oh, Jesus. Wait, did this guy have a kid? What is this?
While going through the trailer, Diana came across a child's drawing. The discovery unsettled her enough that she asked her father if Tom had ever mentioned having children. His response stopped her cold. Tom had once had a young son, a child who passed away years earlier. That revelation sent her followers into overdrive. Many began connecting the shadowy figure in the video to Tom's late son. Some believe the small apparition may have been the child's spirit returning after Tom's death. Others point to the crow, often symbolically linked to death or omens, as another eerie layer to the story. Of course, skeptics suggest there could be logical explanations. Shadows from emergency lights, video compression artifacts, animals in the area, all possibilities. The dead crow could have been trapped in the structure, and the drawing may simply have been an old keepsake. But when you combine the late-night police activity, the unexplained figure, the child's drawing, and the sudden fall of a dead bird, it becomes a sequence that's difficult for some to dismiss as coincidence. Was it just a trick of light and unfortunate timing, or was something else lingering in that trailer that night? Whatever the explanation, Diana's video continues to circulate, leaving viewers divided between rational answers and something far more unsettling. The story of Heather Nicole Maples unfolded in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, a growing college town southeast of Nashville, energized by Middle Tennessee State University and the constant rhythm of student life. On the surface, it was a kind of place filled with opportunity, movement, and new beginnings. For Heather, it was supposed to be exactly that. Heather Nicole Maples was born on August 23, 1992, in Ocala, Florida, during the chaos of Hurricane Andrew. Her mother affectionately called her the Tempest Child, a nickname meant with love and humor, never imagining how heavy those words would one day feel. From childhood, Heather was known for her warmth. She had a natural kindness and a desire to help others. When her younger brother Ryan was born in 2004 with a developmental disorder, Heather stepped into a caregiving role with maturity well beyond her years. She helped him navigate everyday tasks and offered emotional support in ways that shaped her future ambitions. It was through caring for Ryan that she discovered her dream of becoming a counselor. After graduating high school, Heather began exploring college options. A friend named Chaz, who lives in Murfreesboro, encouraged her to visit, describing it as an ideal college town. In January 2015, Heather moved to Tennessee and temporarily stayed in Chaz's apartment. Their friendship eventually turned into a brief romantic relationship, but it ended after a few months. Despite the breakup, Heather chose to remain in Murfreesboro and start building her own life there. She became close friends with a woman named Kelsey, who helped her secure a job at the leasing office of the Cove Apartments. Eventually, Heather moved into her own small apartment within the same complex. She was preparing to begin classes, working during the day and enjoying time with friends at night. By all appearances, she felt settled and optimistic. On the evening of August 6, 2015, Heather told Kelsey she planned to go out at a local bar called Gentleman Jim's. Knowing Heather sometimes overslept, she asked Kelsey to call her the next morning. If she didn't answer, Kelsey was to come by and wake her. The next day, August 7, 2015, Kelsey tried repeatedly to reach Heather by phone. There was no answer. Concerned, she walked to Heather's apartment and found the door slightly open. Inside, she discovered Heather lying face down on a mattress in the living room. At first glance, it appeared as though she might simply be asleep, but when Kelsey touched her, she immediately knew something was wrong. Heather's body was cold. Kelsey ran outside and called for help. Investigators quickly secured the scene and began reconstructing Heather's final hours. The apartment was cluttered, but friends described Heather as naturally messy, making it difficult to determine whether a struggle had occurred. However, one detail stood out immediately: a bloody fingerprint on the bed. Detectives believed that print could identify the person responsible. They began reviewing Heather's phone records and interviewing anyone she had contact with that night. A man named Michael came under initial scrutiny after returning to the apartment during the investigation, explaining that Heather had accidentally left her key with him the night before. Though suspicious at first, forensic testing eventually cleared him. Attention then shifted to Chaz, Heather's former boyfriend. Detectives learned he had been back in town the night Heather died. He was thoroughly questioned, but his fingerprints and DNA did not match the evidence collected at the scene. As investigators continued analyzing phone records, they identified another man, Brandon, whom Heather had met at Gentleman Jim's. Brandon admitted that he and Heather had spent time together before and that he had been inside her apartment on prior occasions. When the bloody fingerprint from the bed was entered into a national database, it matched Brandon's. Confronted with the forensic evidence, Brandon denied harming Heather. However, the fingerprint placed him at the scene. He was arrested and charged. Further investigation revealed disturbing details. Authorities discovered evidence on Brandon's phone indicating that Heather had previously been recorded without her knowledge during intimate encounters. Prosecutors later argued that on the night of August 6, Heather may have discovered this and confronted him. What followed, they said, turned violent. In March 2017, Brandon accepted a plea agreement. He was sentenced to 40 years in prison. In court, Heather's family spoke about her compassion, her dreams of helping others, and her trusting nature. Her mother described her as someone who saw the good in people, someone who believed in kindness. Heather's life had been defined by empathy, by her commitment to her brother, and by her desire to make a difference in the lives of others. Her move to Murfreesboro was meant to be the start of something meaningful, an education, a career, a future. Instead, her story became a stark reminder how trust can be manipulated and how danger can sometimes come from someone familiar. For those who knew her, Heather is remembered not for the violence that ended her life, but for the warmth she carried with her, the smile, the ambition, the quiet strength she showed as a sister and daughter. Her life was full of potential that was cut short far too soon. And in Murfreesboro, the questions that once surrounded her case have been answered in court, but the loss remains, a permanent absence in the lives of those who loved her most. The image wasn't meant for the public. It started as a simple live photo sent through iMessage, just a quick snapshot from a birthday weekend getaway. But not long after it was shared, it made its way to Reddit. Within hours, it began circulating widely online, leaving viewers unsettled and searching for explanations. According to the original uploader, the photo was taken during a peaceful girls-only retreat beside a lake. A small group of women had gathered for the weekend to relax, unwind, and celebrate. There were no children present at any point during the trip. That detail would later become central to the mystery. At some point during the evening, someone captured a brief live photo near the campfire. On the surface, it looked normal. Friends sitting together, flames casting warm light across their faces, the dark tree lying behind them. But when the image was examined more closely, something appeared in the background that no one remembered seeing. On the far right side of the photo, behind two women seated near the fire, a pale face seems to peer out from the darkness. It appears small, childlike in size. The skin looks grayish, almost drained of color. Stranger still, it doesn't reflect the firelight the way the others do, while everyone else in the frame glows with warm orange tones from the flames. This face remains oddly flat and cold. Viewers quickly began zooming in, enhancing the image and debating what they were seeing. The unsettling part didn't stop there. When the live photo was played back, since live photos capture a short moment of movement in audio, the figure remained visible for a brief flicker. Yet the iPhone's facial recognition software failed to detect it as a face. Every other visible person in the frame was recognized. The pale figure was ignored entirely. No one at the retreat recognized the face. No one recalled the child being anywhere near the campsite, and the uploader, known as RIP8Youth, initially tried to dismiss it as a trick of light or digital distortion, but after reviewing the file more closely, they claimed the image only became more confusing. Some skeptics suggest common explanations: pareidolia, where the brain interprets random shapes as faces, shadows created by uneven firelight, compression artifacts from live photo processing, or even a person partially obscured in the background. In low light settings, especially around fire, cameras can create strange distortions that appear human at first glance. Still, the details continue to trouble people. The photo was taken in the Appalachian Mountains, one of the oldest mountain ranges on Earth, steeped in folklore and long-standing ghost stories. For decades, hikers and campers have shared tales of hearing unexplained noises in the woods, feeling watched from the tree line, or encountering figures they couldn't identify. Whether those stories are rooted in imagination, misidentification, or something else entirely remains open to interpretation. So, what was captured that night? A glitch in the camera? A trick of the firelight? A shadow aligned just right to resemble a face? Or something more difficult to explain? There is no shortage of chaos transpiring in Mexico. Take this clip, for example. Take a look. The bus driver was successful in bringing his passengers to safety, following their escape from an armed mob attempting to burn the bus down. What makes this narrative authentic? Fearing the worst, many of the passengers begged him to stop, but he persisted and managed to get them out of harm's way. However, there's more. The bus driver was successful in bringing his passengers to safety, following their escape from an armed mob attempting to burn the bus down. Fearing the worst, many of the passengers begged him to stop, but he persisted and managed to get them out of harm's way. Staying in Mexico, we have this bone-chilling footage.
Ay, no. No. Baja la cabeza. Baja la cabeza. Ay,
This family managed to avoid being kidnapped, or perhaps their only goal was to take their vehicle. Am I correct? However, who is going to make that assumption, particularly when the cartel waged war on the whole nation? It's quite frightening. Following a live investigation at Holcombe Church in Somerset, England, the YouTube channel Fro Paranormal uploaded footage that quickly unsettled viewers. The church, known for its age, isolation, and reportedly haunted cemetery, has long been tied to ghostly legends. The team streamed their overnight investigation live on Facebook, hoping to capture something unusual. What makes this clip so eerie is that the investigators themselves didn't notice anything at the time. It was their audience who spotted it. During one portion of the live stream, a white mist suddenly forms on the left side of the screen. It hovers briefly at about shoulder height before fading into the darkness. The team continues scanning the graveyard with their equipment, completely unaware that something appears to materialize beside them. Some viewers believe the mist could be an apparition, possibly connected to one of the many souls buried on the grounds. Local lore even speaks of a parishioner who died tragically near the church centuries ago. Skeptics, however, argue it could simply be fog, condensation, or light distortion captured by the camera. So, what do you think? A spirit lingering in the cemetery, or just a natural phenomenon caught at the perfect moment? It's a quiet residential street, the kind of place where neighbors look out for one another. But on this night, a concerned homeowner finds a sight that chills him to the bone. A woman, completely unresponsive, slumped in his driveway. Police and paramedics rush to the scene. The neighbor, fearing the worst, has already administered Narcan, a desperate gamble to save a stranger's life. As the body camera footage begins, the medication is just starting to take effect, pulling her back from the brink of an overdose. The woman slowly regains consciousness, but the relief the officers feel is short-lived. She is disoriented, unable to answer simple questions, and insists she has only consumed alcohol and water.
Okay, well, do you want to tell the firefighters?
No. Hey, dear.
Well, they need to help you, so they need to know what you took.
I don't care. Well, your neighbor found you unresponsive and then gave you some Narcan, and it seems to have woken you right up. So you don't have to apologize. I'm just letting you know what's going on right now. No. What'd you take? We don't care. We're just wondering so we can just alcohol and water.
I got a call here, so I have to notate that I spoke to you and that you are okay.
Sure. You don't know where you're at? You know what year it is? What year is it?
2025.
Huh. They give you 4 quarters. How much money would you have?
I don't know. What the kind of question is that?
It's a pretty easy one.
No, it's not. That's a stupid question.
Sorry.
That's a dumb question. We can go ahead and check this out. Run out of your house. $80 drive.
Yeah.
Why the fuck is this going
Just
on?
stay put for a second.
No, I'm not going to stay put for a second. Why the fuck did Derek call you guys? Fuck Derek. Fuck Derek. You guys are fucking stupid. Go inside.
Why don't you hang?
No, fuck all of you. Fuck all of you. I'm an engineer. Go fuck yourself.
As the officers attempt to assess her mental state, the atmosphere shifts from medical concern to something much more tense. The confusion in her eyes is replaced by a sudden, inexplicable rage.
No. No.
You're gonna hurt yourself.
No, I'm not gonna hurt you. No, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Despite barely being able to stand moments ago, the woman suddenly bolts toward a nearby house. She claims it's her home, but her erratic behavior and refusal to cooperate leave officers with no choice but to intervene for her own safety. What follows is a disturbing transformation. The woman who just minutes earlier was a pulse away from death becomes a whirlwind of profanity and threats.
Honey, is this even your house?
Yes, it is my house.
Okay, well, you're gonna hang out here with us.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. No. Yeah, go fucking take me to jail. Take me to jail. Take me to jail. Take me to jail. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
She claims to be an engineer, yet screams that the laws of physics won't stop her from breaking steel handcuffs with her bare hands.
Have a seat. No, no. You have a seat. You have a seat. Fuck you. Fuck you, fucking bitch. Fuck you, fucking bitch.
You got her?
Yeah, I got her.
She won't say. She tried going inside the residence while they were
Yeah, I'm at my house. My fucking house.
You said you didn't know where you were.
I know, I'm at my fucking house.
Okay, well, you said you didn't know
Get
where you
out of
were.
my fucking house, you fucking bitch. I'll fucking punch your fucking face.
Alright.
Let's not talk like that. Let's act like adults.
I'll fucking hate you, bitch. Fuck you.
Hey, let's act like adults.
No.
Let's act like adults.
Alright. Well,
Okay,
get that
thank you.
bitch out of my face.
Okay.
Get this shit off my hands.
No.
No. I'll fucking break it.
And good luck. It's
Alright.
metal.
I will. I will.
Yeah, okay.
Alright, I will.
Keep looking that way.
No.
Okay, do what you
No.
want.
No, I'm not doing this, Mom. I'm not doing this again, Mom.
I'm not your mom.
No, my mom did this to me 25 years ago.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know what she did to you.
While one officer struggles to keep the woman restrained, another speaks with a neighbor who called 911. His story paints a much darker picture of the neighborhood's recent history. He reveals that for the past several weeks, his home has become the hub of crazy activity, with strange people appearing at all hours. He didn't just find her in his driveway. He found her after she had called for an Uber. She was far too gone to enter.
I like go in sober houses. She's a drug therapist, and we kind of know, like obviously it's gotten pretty bad. She's got random people like out here like mowing the lawn, and they look kind of like, you know, drug users.
Yeah.
So I was just worried. I mean, with fentanyl, I thought she was overdosing too.
All right, well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys do a good job. Thank you guys.
Have a good night.
The situation reaches a breaking point when the woman refuses to walk to the ambulance. Paramedics and police are forced to physically lift her onto a stretcher as she continues to hurl insults, even claiming that sheriffs are better than you, to the city officers trying to save her life.
Get it off of me.
No.
Yes.
No.
All right, then I'll fucking break it myself.
You're gonna
No,
stay
no,
sitting.
no, I won't.
Yeah, you are.
No, I won't.
Yeah, you are.
I will not.
Just take a deep breath.
Hey.
Calm down.
No.
Let's act like adults.
Hey.
How old are you?
48.
So let's act 48, okay?
No, I won't. No, I won't. I will fucking break your shit.
Okay, good luck.
I will break your shit.
Good luck.
All right. Off me. No, I am gonna get the off me. No, not you. Can't.
You want to bring her to your car?
No.
Or we're gonna stand up.
Nope. I'm
Ready?
not. Nope. No.
You're gonna get a resisting
Nope.
charge.
I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Hey,
you guys
Dad.
need her? 3, 2, 1. See?
No. Get the fuck off me. Hey.
Relax.
Hey.
Relax.
Hey, no him. Hey, I'm back.
In her state of drug-induced psychosis, she views the people keeping her alive as her captors. In a surprising turn of events, the woman was never charged for the substances that nearly took her life that night. However, her aggression toward the first responders had consequences. She was charged with battery on a law enforcement officer for shoving the corporal who came to her aid. After pleading no contest, she was spared prison time, instead receiving 24 months of probation and a court order to attend mandatory anger management classes. A quiet night in the suburbs that nearly ended in a tragedy, leaving a neighborhood on edge and a body cam record of a life spiraling out of control. At first glance, the footage seems routine. A car pulls up outside a Florida hospital in the early morning hours. A young man rushes inside, frantic, shouting for help. Paramedics hurry out with a stretcher. The woman in the passenger seat is 22-year-old Savannah Gonzalez. That video on its own doesn't look like a murder case unfolding in real time, but everything that followed would reveal a far darker truth. In the early hours of March 12, 2021, Brennan Hill drove Savannah to Advent Health Palm Coast in Flagler County, Florida. She had been shot in the head. Brennan told deputies that moments earlier, a stranger had approached their parked car near a motel. According to him, it was spring break. Hotels were booked. They had been bouncing between places trying to find somewhere to stay. He claimed they were parked when a man walked up to the driver's side window and asked for a cigarette. Brennan said he rolled the window down. He told investigators the man suddenly pulled the gun and demanded money. Brennan insisted he reacted instinctively, grabbing or pushing the weapon away. During the struggle, he claimed the gun discharged. Savannah was shot. Inside the hospital, medical staff worked urgently. The injury was catastrophic. Deputies treated the situation as an attempted armed robbery turned shooting. Brennan was the sole witness. His version of events was all they had at first, but cracks appeared quickly. When detectives asked Brennan to pinpoint where the shooting happened, his answers were inconsistent. He identified one area near the motel, then shifted to another. He struggled to clearly mark the location on a map. His description of the suspect was vague: a man with dreadlocks, dark clothing, possibly disheveled. Deputies canvassed the motel property and surrounding streets. They processed Brennan's car as a crime scene. If a struggle had occurred inside, forensic evidence would support it. Officers soon detained a man who somewhat matched the description Brennan provided. He was searched. His vehicle was searched. Nothing tied him to Savannah. No weapon, no blood, no connection. He was released. The mysterious gunman Brennan described was nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, something else began raising concern. Brennan's behavior inside the hospital was erratic. He cried, he paced, he repeatedly asked about Savannah's condition. When medical staff told him he was stable for the moment, his anxiety didn't ease. Detectives would later say it appeared less like relief and more like fear that Savannah might regain consciousness and speak. As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered troubling history. On February 20, 2021, just weeks before the shooting, Savannah had contacted law enforcement asking for help retrieving her belongings. She reportedly told officers she felt unsafe in the relationship and had videos and images documenting disturbing behavior. That detail shifted the entire direction of the case. Now investigators weren't only looking for a stranger, they were looking at Brennan. On March 26, 2021, Brennan sat down for a formal interrogation. His story evolved again. This time he suggested the incident may have involved a gun sale, not a robbery. He implied they may have been meeting someone regarding a firearm transaction. The narrative was changing. When pressed on inconsistencies, Brennan stopped answering questions and requested a lawyer. But detectives weren't done. They began reviewing surveillance footage along Brennan's route to the hospital. Cameras captured something crucial: Brennan's vehicle stopping along Palm Coast Parkway Southwest before arriving at the hospital. He exited the car. He walked into a wooded area briefly. Then he returned and drove off. Deputies were sent to that exact location. Hidden beneath leaves and dirt, wrapped inside a towel, they found a handgun. That discovery dismantled Brennan's story. If a stranger had fired the weapon and fled, why was the gun concealed in the woods along Brennan's route? Investigators obtained a search warrant for Brennan's phone. What they found was damning. Just one day before the shooting, Brennan had recorded himself holding a handgun that closely resembled the weapon recovered from the woods. The video had been shared on social media. The gun wasn't some unknown weapon introduced by a stranger. It was his. Savannah survived the initial shooting but suffered devastating brain trauma. She could not speak. Communication was limited to simple gestures, yes or no responses. Investigators visited her. When asked whether Brennan shot her, Savannah responded affirmatively. That moment sealed the direction of the case. Additional interviews with friends revealed Savannah had been trying to leave the relationship. She had confided in others about volatile arguments. Some recordings recovered from her devices captured intense confrontations and emotional manipulation. The image Brennan had tried to paint, a struggling but loving couple, did not match the reality investigators uncovered. He was arrested and charged with attempted first-degree murder. In court, Brennan shifted his story yet again. He claimed the shooting was accidental. He argued there had been a struggle over the gun inside the vehicle, but forensic evidence contradicted that claim. The trajectory of the bullet, the concealment of the firearm, the evolving narratives, the prior documented instability in the relationship. The pieces formed a coherent pattern. Savannah lived for more than a year after the shooting but never recovered. On November 9, 2022, at just 23 years old, she died from medical complications directly tied to the gunshot wound. The charges were upgraded to first-degree murder. On February 6, 2024, Brennan Hill was sentenced to life in prison, and that's what makes the hospital footage so chilling. It isn't just a video of a frantic boyfriend seeking help. It is the beginning of the unraveling. What appears at first to be chaos caused by a random act of violence slowly reveals itself as something calculated, something internal, not external. The stranger never existed. The danger was already in the car, and in that quiet stretch of Florida roadway, before the hospital lights and sirens, the truth had already begun to surface, hidden beneath panic, shifting stories, and a towel buried in the woods. Flash floods have been recorded as a result of the unusual weather that has been occurring in parts of Brazil. Infrastructure is harmed and, in the worst cases, compromised when that occurs.
Vai pra trás, vai pra trás, vai pra trás, vai pra trás. Vai pra trás, vai pra trás, vai pra trás. Bora, vai lá pra trás. Vai lá pra trás. Cadê a Sky? Aí. Aí, trota. Desceu foi tudo.
These individuals were able to record their house partially collapsing. Thankfully, there were no injuries. But imagine how crazy that would be. A portion of your house collapses as a result of flash floods and heavy rainfall. It makes me feel terrible to watch that. Deep within the eerie hills of Uttar Pradesh, northern India, looms a colossal sandstone structure known as the Gwalior Fort, shrouded in mystery and whispers of the past. With origins tracing back to the 5th century, this site stands not just as a significant historical landmark, but also as one of the eeriest locations in the nation, shrouded in tales of the supernatural. Whispers among the townsfolk tell of tormented souls believed to be the lingering presence of those who suffered under the rule of long-forgotten monarchs. Some have reported chilling sounds of tormented cries resonating from the dark concealed chambers lurking beneath the stronghold. In November 2016, Amit Kumar and a friend ventured into the eerie depths of Gwalior Fort. As he wandered through the eerie old structures, he inadvertently recorded something truly disturbing on film.
निचले आंटी भी पड़ी है।
की निशानियां भी दिख रही हैं।
हाँ। एक मिनट रुकिए ना मुँह।
क्या हुआ?
अरे 1 मिनट रुक।
क्या?
अरे रुको ना, बता रहा हूँ।
बोल तो सही, क्या हुआ?
रुक तो सही। अरे रुको 1 मिनट। अरे रुक ना, 1 मिनट वीडियो बंद कर।
Even though Amit felt uncertain in that moment, his camera captured a figure lurking ominously just behind his friend. But when the lens shifts back to that very same spot just a moment later, the figure or entity that was there has vanished without a trace. Is it possible that this is one of the restless souls rumored to linger in the shadows of the old fortress? What do you think? Keep your eyes on Nicole Montalvo. She's just 27 years old as she steps through the front door of the Rivera family home on Hickson Avenue in St. Cloud, Florida. Her little boy Elijah is right behind her. To Nicole, it feels like just another custody exchange. Tense, yes, but routine. The kind of routine you learn to endure for the sake of your child. She keeps her composure, she always does. She tells herself it's temporary. She drops Elijah off, expecting to return later and pick him up, just like she has before. Life is supposed to keep moving forward. What she doesn't know is that inside that house, Christopher Otto Rivera, her 31-year-old estranged husband, and his father, Angel Rivera, are already set on a plan that will ensure she never walks back out. Nicole Montalvo was born on August 21, 1986 in Orlando, Florida. The people who loved her described her as radiant. She had an energy that filled rooms. Warm, expressive, welcoming. She laughed loudly. She hugged tightly. She made people feel seen. Florida shaped her in simple but meaningful ways. The beach was her sanctuary. When things felt heavy, she would go stand by the ocean and let the sound of the waves reset her. After high school, she carved out independence early. She worked as a waitress, built a circle of close friends, and kept traditions alive, especially Monday Night Football, where she loudly supported the Philadelphia Eagles. It wasn't just about football. It was about community, routine, belonging. Underneath her social life, though, Nicole carried a quiet longing. She wanted stability, a safe home, a partner she could trust, a family built on security rather than fear. Then she met Christopher Rivera. At first, it felt electric, intense, the kind of fast-moving relationship that feels destined. His parents welcomed her warmly. She felt embraced, included, like she had stepped into something permanent. They married. Soon after, their son Elijah was born. Elijah became Nicole's world. Friends said she transformed when she became a mother. Every decision revolved around him. His safety, his happiness, his future. She poured herself into parenting with the same warmth she gave everyone else. But relationships don't always reveal their fractures immediately. What began as intensity gradually shifted into control. Christopher's demeanor changed. Arguments escalated. Disagreements turned volatile. Nicole later endured physical violence. The tension in the home became constant. By 2018, the situation had deteriorated enough that Nicole made a terrifying decision. She left. Leaving an abusive relationship is never simple. It's a process filled with fear, uncertainty, and complicated legal realities. Nicole took Elijah and tried to rebuild. She wanted a safe life for her son. The separation did not bring peace. It brought a custody battle. Christopher fought aggressively for shared custody, then for more. Court hearings became tense. Despite her fears, Nicole agreed to shared custody. She believed Elijah deserved to know his father. She trusted that court orders, legal boundaries, and oversight would protect her. But prosecutors later revealed that Christopher was not seeking shared parenting. He was seeking control. In 2018, after the separation, Christopher allegedly lured Nicole under the guise of discussion and assaulted her again. Nicole's mother intervened, calling 911. Officers arrived to find clear evidence of violence. Christopher was arrested and charged. While incarcerated, investigators later uncovered evidence that he attempted to portray Nicole as an unfit mother, allegedly plotting to undermine her custody rights. He was eventually released under strict conditions. An ankle monitor tracked his movements. A no-contact order prohibited direct interaction outside of a court-approved co-parenting app. Nicole filed for divorce in early 2019. Friends later said she remained uneasy. She feared Christopher and his father were fixated on gaining full custody of Elijah. She worried that the legal process would not stop them. Still, she continued custody exchanges. She tried to keep things normal for Elijah. Then came October 21, 2019. Nicole drove Elijah to the Rivera house for a scheduled exchange. She walked inside holding his hand. She handed him over to his father's family. She never came home. The next day, Nicole was supposed to pick Elijah up from school. She didn't show. Her phone went unanswered. That alone set off alarms. Nicole never missed commitments involving her son. Christopher's father picked Elijah up instead. By that evening, Nicole's family knew something was terribly wrong and reported her missing. At first, investigators explored routine possibilities: dead phone battery, voluntary disappearance, car trouble, but given the documented history between Nicole and Christopher, detectives quickly turned their attention to him and his father. Christopher claimed Nicole left immediately after dropping Elijah off. Then a message was sent from Nicole's phone stating she needed them to keep Elijah for a few days. Investigators were skeptical. Phone records revealed that Nicole's device remained on the Rivera property long after the family claimed she had left. Then it abruptly stopped transmitting. If she drove away, why was her phone still there? A neighbor reported seeing digging equipment on the property around the time Nicole vanished. Then a critical witness came forward. Christopher's brother, Nicholas Rivera, told investigators he saw Christopher and Angel in the garage with Nicole, who appeared unresponsive. He later testified that the scene felt wrong, that something serious had already happened. Search warrants followed. Authorities combed through properties connected to the Rivera family. Days later, investigators located disturbed ground in a secluded area of Osceola County. The soil looked recently turned. Insects swarmed unusually. Forensic testing confirmed the remains were Nicole's. Ankle monitor data placed Christopher in areas connected to the disposal site shortly after Nicole disappeared. Prosecutors constructed a chilling timeline. Nicole was killed inside the Rivera home, likely in the garage, shortly after she walked in. Her body was then transported and buried. The motive, they argued, was control. Christopher wanted sole custody of Elijah. Nicole stood in the way. Angel Rivera, according to prosecutors, assisted in concealing the crime. In late October 2019, both Christopher and Angel were arrested. The case gripped the community. It raised urgent questions about custody disputes, domestic violence, and whether warning signs had been ignored. During the 2021 trial, prosecutors presented extensive digital evidence: phone data, location records, ankle monitor logs, testimony from Nicholas Rivera, forensic findings linking the Riveras to the burial site. They argued that Nicole's murder was deliberate and calculated, that the crime was rooted in obsession and the desire to eliminate her as a parental rival. The defense attempted to create doubt, challenging witness credibility and arguing that the evidence was circumstantial. But after only 90 minutes of deliberation, the jury returned guilty verdicts. Christopher Rivera and Angel Rivera were convicted of second-degree murder and tampering with evidence. Both were sentenced to life in prison. Angel Rivera later died in custody from complications related to COVID-19. Elijah was raised by Nicole's parents. Her family described him as resilient, but burdened by trauma no child should carry. He lost his mother in the most violent way possible, at the hands of someone who was supposed to co-parent him. Nicole stepped into that house believing she was doing the responsible thing. She believed court orders, ankle monitors, and structured custody exchanges would protect her. They didn't. Her story forces uncomfortable reflection. Escaping an abusive relationship does not always eliminate danger. Sometimes the period after separation is the most dangerous. Control doesn't dissolve quietly. It fights to reassert itself. Nicole did everything the system asked of her. She documented abuse, she sought help, she complied with custody arrangement, she filed for divorce. She attempted to move forward legally and responsibly, and still she walked into a house she would never leave. What remains is not just a tragedy of how her life ended, but who she was. A devoted mother, a daughter who called home often, a friend who showed up, a woman who loved loudly and fiercely, someone who wanted peace for her child above all else. In January 2026, officers with the Gwinnett County Police Department responded to the reported robbery at an apartment complex located at 2000 Satellite Point in Duluth. When officers arrived at the scene, they were met by 28-year-old Chang Zili of Buford. Lee told officers that a burglary or robbery was actively taking place inside the apartment and allowed them entry. On February 9, Gwinnett County Police Vice investigators identified an online listing they suspected was advertising prostitution. The contact phone number listed in the advertisement matched a known number associated with Lee. Investigators initiated communication with the number as part of an undercover operation to solicit commercial sex services. An undercover sting operation was arranged at an apartment in unincorporated Duluth.
How many windows do you have? Any windows do you have?
Gwinnett County Police, come out with your hands up!
As officers moved inside, they immediately heard the sound of glass shattering. Moments later, a man emerged from one of the rooms with a visible injury to his hand that was bleeding. Officers issued verbal commands, ordering him to comply. When the man refused and instead threw his phone at the officers, they deployed a taser to gain control of the situation.
Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Put your hands up right now! Taser. Oh! Got him? Yes.
All fish cleared.
528. 1039. Who are you? Who are you? Are you okay? Okay. Is there anybody else with you? No? Okay. Just stay right there for me, okay? Okay? Just stay right there. Shake. You start to run and shoot me. She just tried to ride me, bro, and shoot me, bro. I'm letting her on the escort side. All right, what's your name?
Sorry, is there anybody downstairs?
I don't think anybody else was.
That's my first time.
I'm wondering if you threw the gun out the window.
The window? Is that even real?
It is.
Okay. It looks like a dang toy, almost.
It is looks like some flavor of single action 22.
Following the Vice operation, Lee faced additional charges, including keeping a place of prostitution, pimping, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and human trafficking. Authorities confirmed that Lee is currently being held in the Gwinnett County Jail without bond as the investigation continues. Thanks for watching. Stay vigilant, friends.